break it down, give you the scoop. Hold on tight, this ain't no ordinary loop. UFC's the battleground where warriors collide. Die Hard MMA podcast, we won't hide. Clint's gonna dig deep, analyze each brawl from the underdogs to the champions standing tall. The fury, let your instincts rise. Feel the adrenaline rush, it's time to defy. Die Hard MMA, we're ready for the thrill. Get ready for the madness. Let's make that bankroll spill.
What is going on? What is happening? What is happening right now? What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday evening. Welcome to the Undefeated Post Weigh-In Show. They changed all the little doohickeys and doodads over here. I'm hitting all the buttons and it's like starting the damn song over. It used to rotate the song. It used to just rotate it straight through. So I had to like manually stop it. Apparently now it stops itself. So when I hit it again, it would play it. And so I hit it again to stop it and then it would play it. So I'm confused. I'm old. Okay. Boomer guy doing podcast here for the MMA show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Undefeated Post Weigh-In Show. And as you know, we're taking everything. We're taking all of it. We're taking all the information we've got. We broke this thing down on Monday. We take all the info we can gather throughout the week. We talk with the boys. We watch the weigh-ins. We watch the face-offs. We do one last run through the show. One last run through the fights at UFC 318, and then we try to make some money. That's the whole point of doing this bad boy. And of course, the best part about the Friday Undefeated Post Weigh-In Show is the comments section. We now have a little doodad where you guys can see your comments on screen, even if I'm not highlighting your comments on screen. So get in here with me and let's freaking go. Colby knows what's up. Says best show of the week. Metafight. What's going on, buddy? Appreciate you being here, especially tuning in on Twitter like that. We've got Grace Fan. We've got Sven. I think that's Sven. You're 7. We got 7. Green King. What's going on? Rusty in the house. Louis Mack Jr. Thomas. What's going on? Of course, always grinding, my friend. Always grinding. Let's get into this show. All right, guys. First fight of the evening. We're kicking off with women's MMA action. Couple of up-and-coming studs here. Carly Judis takes on Nicole Caliari. 125 for Judis, 126 for Caliari. And Caliari looks thick and strong. Let me tell you, there is a distinguished difference between these two women. When they stand side to side, you get that straight on camera view, and one of them's got a dump truck. The other one doesn't. Like this is tall and long versus short and thick for sure. I will be honest with you guys. As always, I'm always as honest with you guys as I possibly can be. I thought the height advantage was going to be even more than it is here. I thought Judis was going to just tower over this woman. She's definitely taller, but it's only by like a half of a head. I really thought she was going to be even bigger. So height and reach advantage obviously go to my girl, Crispy Judis. And I am picking her to win, you guys. So if you missed my post on social media, I'm going with the anchor parlay system this week. We beat a ton of these lines, and thank God for that, because kicking off our night, we have, if I can find it here, Kevin Holland parlayed with Carly Judis. That's our first two-legger, right? If you're new to the anchor system, I pick one fighter who I'm like 99% sure is going to win. Line doesn't matter. And you just parlay them up in 2 and 3 leg parlays with whatever else you like on the card. It's an extremely volatile style. If the anchor loses, you're sunk. You lose everything. None of your bets come through because they were all tied to that one person. But if your anchor wins, it improves the price tag on everything else you bet for the evening. So it gives you an opportunity for big profit on otherwise chalked up lines. Kevin Holland is the anchor. First parlay is a two-legger. Kevin Holland and Carly Judis. I got minus 159. That same parlay now, minus 220. So that's the idea. Get out ahead, parlay them up, bring the price tags down, beat the market, have the anchor come on through. So I am already in on crispy Carly Judis, and not a whole lot has changed for me, except the fact that I'm a little worried that Caliari is a little bit larger than I expected her to be. And let's be real, this is women's MMA. It is relatively low-level women's MMA, and we've got the grappler versus striker. We saw last week the grappler came through in a big time in that kind of a matchup. So I know a couple people that are taking the shots here, the dog shots on Nicole Caliari, looking for the takedowns, looking for the grappling, looking for the jiu-jitsu, and I'm hoping that Crispy is just seasoned well enough to go ahead and defend those takedowns and extend this fight. Prediction: decision. I think it's going to be a decision. I do think it's going to be competitive. I don't think she's going to take her out late. I think in those moments where she does the damage and she strikes on the feet, I think Caliari will be able to shell up, defend, and, maybe buy a little bit of time clinching against the cage, maybe even hit a couple of takedowns. Like, I don't think this is going to be a walk in the park necessarily. So especially now that the line's getting up near minus 400, I think she wins, but I think it will be closer than that. If you're looking for a way to bring that down, again, I'd be looking at the decision prop. It's about minus 120 right now. I think that's an okay way to look at it now if you missed the early numbers. Next up, Bruno Ferreira takes on Jackson McVey. 186 for Bruno, 185 for Jackson. Both guys look good on the scales today. This was an incredible face-off, and if you guys just look at the picture, just look at the freaking picture, the size of Jackson McVey. I am so tempted right now, you guys. I am so tempted to jump in on McVey. That number's come in just a little bit. Bruno is a minus 575 favorite. You can get plus 425 or so on Jackson McVey. He was plus 450 a little bit earlier in the week. So a little bit of action has come in on the dog here in this spot. And frankly, I get it. Bruno is a live and die by the sword type of fighter, somebody who I am never comfortable with a chalk favorite price tag on. I've talked about this since the beginning. Like, yes, he's got power. Yes, he's explosive. I know he's a jiu-jitsu black belt. I know he's got the judo. Like, he checks all the boxes, but he's too small and he's too volatile for me. If this kid Jackson McVey plays his cards right, keeps this thing at distance, intercepts him on his way in, you think about like what Nursultan Razaboev did. That's the kind of thing where you can get to this guy Bruno, and he's not necessarily the most durable out there. He doesn't have the best cardio out there. We've seen him when he gets extended in fights, he can fall apart. We've seen him get intercepted and caught by heavy hitters. He can get cracked and put down. And this McVey kid, he's a Minnesota boy. I mean, got Victor Viking chilling right here behind me. No, wrong side. There we go. There he is. You can see him over the shoulder. These Minnesota boys are built a little bit different, right? We know a couple of Minnesota boys that made some waves in the UFC recently. So I am very, very tempted to just take a little sprinkle, be like, look, he's younger, he's bigger, he's longer, and he's also going to be game. This fight's going to be vicious. It's going to be fast. It's going to be early. I don't see this one going long. I don't see why McVey would do much differently than what he's already done to this point. And he's got an opponent that's going to force him to fight. So I think this one's going to be a slobber knocker, you guys. I think it's going to be early action. I think one of these guys is going down, and it's going to go down fast. So Jackson McVey is the lean dog or pass for me early here. And I think I kind of lean towards the knockout. Interestingly enough, I talked about being tempted on the knockout prop here. 10-1 is what it was sitting at Bet Online. 10-1. And every time, props, you get good props stateside, guys. You get really good props on DraftKings. You get really good props on FanDuel. Most of the time, these props, when they're on Bet Online, they're not as good. We can get a better number once they open up stateside. They're allowing us to be a little bit more volatile, right? Well, what ended up happening in this fight is we have a 9-1 for McVey by knockout, whereas we have a 10-1 overseas on Bet MMA. Now, that doesn't mean anything That doesn't mean anything. But I will be honest with you guys. I have noticed DraftKings being just a little bit cheaper as of late. Every once in a while, they will shave a couple of points off of a number, and it just kind of makes me go, Now, why would you shave that one down a little bit? What's the reason behind that? So I have a very, very early tinfoil cap lean towards adding that 10-1 shot there on the kid. I may even add the money line of Jackson McVey at this point. Take a big early dog shot, see if the kid can stay undefeated and get it done against a fighter who I'm not super high on, but realistically, very violent fight. So either guy could win by knockout, either guy could win by sub. I'm just looking for some violence in that fight, and we'll see how it goes. What's up, Rusty in the house? Says, I know you say the anchor system is volatile, but you've been hitting it almost every time. Thank you, Rusty. I appreciate that. And the reason for that is I'm exceptionally careful about picking my anchors. This will be anchor number 10. Okay. I'm 8-1 to the anchor parlay system. The only one that I lost, and I'll stand behind this till the day I die. Benoit Saint-Denis was going to whip Moicano's ass. If that fight didn't get stopped because the eye swelling, he had already punched himself back in round 2, and Moicano was completely exhausted. He was still going to come back and win that fight, but too much damage done too early by Moicano. Doctor waved it off. I will always feel bad about that one. I will never forget losing that anchor because the system could be undefeated at this point. Wade, what's going on, buddy? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here. Let's move it right along, you guys. Next fight up, we've got heavyweight action. Ryan Superman Spann takes on Lukas Brecki. Very interesting fight here. We've got Spann coming in at 252 pounds. Lukas Brecki came in at 242. And as you guys can see from the picture, they size up pretty well, but Brecki is slightly larger. We talked about this. Spann is a big dude at 205 pounds. He is big and he's thick and he's strong. And in round 1, he's hell on wheels. But up at heavyweight, he's just another dude. He's not as big as some of these boys up at heavyweight. And frankly, he's looking a little chonky. You know, when I first saw him weigh in on Twitter today, I was like, you know what? He looks okay. He looks pretty good. But then when you actually get like that up close shot at the ceremonial face-offs, he's kind of got like the fat man abs showing things. You can tell there's still some ab muscles down under there, but it's a pack. Like he's not clean and crisp and cut the way that he was. And frankly, he weighs more, you guys. I think he's like 6 pounds heavier than he was the last time he fought at heavyweight. Coming in at 252, he is climbing up towards the tip of that heavyweight division. And I'm not so sure that's a good thing. Like this guy already had cardio problems, and that was with his weight cut down to 205 pounds. Do you expect me to believe that he's going to slap a good 40 pounds on his frame, whether it's muscle or not? You're going to carry another 40 pounds around in that cage, and you're going to have better cardio and better results. I don't see it, guys. I just don't see it. Lukas Brecki looked fine. He's turned into kind of bag of milk type of fighter, right? Like there's photos flying around from his pre-UFC days where he was jacked up on God knows what, but he was absolutely shredded, mountain of muscle, and now he's not that dude no more. Man, this fight is so tough because I still think that this is Ryan Spann round 1. At the end of the day, you guys, I still think this is Ryan Spann round 1 because he's fought a much tougher level of competition. And anytime he gets a break in competition, he absolutely splatters these guys early. Like he really does take advantage when he's not fighting somebody who really gives him the heebie-jeebies. He's he's really kind of a momentum fighter. Like if you can really chip away at his confidence, you can watch this guy fold in on himself and fade. So it all comes down to, will he be able to bully Brecki early? If he fails to get Brecki out of there in the first 2-3 minutes, jump in live, because Brecki will turn this thing up. And we know Spann doesn't finish people in round 2. Spann's power goes away in round 2. Spann's heart falls apart in round 2. I mean, Superman was the wrong name for this man. He's going to have to get a different tattoo on his chest after this weekend if he loses to Lukas Brecki. I demand that he has something else put over the top of that thing, because you ain't Superman if you're losing to Lukas Brecki, okay? So watch this one carefully, you guys. I'm picking Spann. I think it's Spann round 1. You can get a little bit of plus money on that Spann round 1. I think the under 1.5 makes sense because as soon as he folds, boy, does he fold. And then I think if you want to get a little cheeky besides the live bet, obviously, if you want to jump in early, if you don't have access to a FanDuel or a DraftKings, look at the Brecki round 2, round 3 KOs. You've got 11-1. You've got 22-1. I mean, those are the ones that I would take a look at sprinkling if you really need to lock in beforehand. Because as soon as the tide turns, Brecki will jump on Span and never, ever give him a break. And we've seen that cause Span to fold up before. So it's Span. No way am I laying minus 250 on this kid before the fight starts. My only option is to fade him with a live bet if I see the opportunity that I want to see. Maybe they'll do me a little better this week than they did me with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson last week, because my ass is still smarting from getting robbed on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in that decision at plus 650. I made a beautiful live bet, him and Lauren Murphy. Man, I need the winds of change. I need things to shift. Can I catch a bounce or two, please? Let's get this thing back on track. All right, guys, let's keep it rolling. We've already got about 200 of you live tuning into the show, guys. Please do me a favor. Share the show if you haven't. Get subscribed if you haven't, because we do this thing every single week. We do multiple shows every single week. I'm here hanging out with you guys. We're degenning out. We're talking betting. We're talking life. We're having a good time. This is a good atmosphere to be in, and we've got good, friendly people built into the chat. So if you want some MMA, but a whole lot less drama, this is the place to be. Let's move it along. Jimmy Crute takes on Marcin Prachnow in the next fight. And my mouth is moving faster than my fingers, as is per usual. So let me get this up here for you guys. Jimmy Crute takes on Prachnow, 205 for both. And I'll admit, guys, Prachnow looks a little softer than normal to me. When he got up there and he got on scale and he flexed up there, like you can see all the scar holes in his belly where he got those EPO injections years and years and years ago. Those have not gone away. But his whole thing, his body looks a lot softer. He looks like he's aging, right? We see that with these guys. Once they get a little bit older, they start to fall apart. There's less muscle, etc. You can see it happening in live time to Marcin Prachnow. Jimmy Crute, he looked fantastic. He looked totally fine. He's got abs. His chest is up there. His arms are full. Like, everything's good about Jimmy Crute as far as I can tell right now. And he's enjoying a nice little size advantage here against Marcin Prachnow. Guys, this is a lot like Ryan Spann. Jim Crute falls in the same exact category as Ryan Spann, except that he's got a little more road ahead of him. He's got a little more life on him. Like, this kid could turn it around. This kid's got time to make adjustments. He's got time to become something other than what he is. And because of that, I can't quite write him off. You know what I mean? I already wrote Jim off a couple of times. I lost a lot of money on him when he was losing to Alonzo Menifield, which I still to this day cannot believe that actually happened. Not once, but freaking twice. So yeah, I'm in a spot where I really have a hard time trusting this man. But at the same time, I really want to be on the other side in Prachnow. I love fading Marcin Prachnow. He's a decent striker. He's decently explosive, but the older he gets, the worse it gets. And he has no ground game. He has no takedown defense. He has no ability to get up. He has no ability to defend. And he gets just absolutely punked when he's on the ground. Now, he's taking on Jimmy Crute, a guy whose grappling is his specialty. And we have seen, I know he didn't end up winning the Menifield fights, right? I know he didn't actually end up taking those things home, but we've seen that when he feels like he's got a grappling disadvantage against somebody, he will go to it and he will go to it. I think if he does that with a guy like Prachnow, Prachnow is going to gas relatively quickly, and he's going to find himself in a very bad position relatively quickly. So this is absolutely a Jimmy Crute spot to me. I did throw him in an anchor parlay set. He is in a 2-leg parlay. I got minus 159 on that one as well. It's funny, it was the same price as Judis to go ahead and start the card. That number now looks like minus 200. So yeah, big, nice movement that we beat there with those two chalky favorites. But at the end of the day, it's the stub, man. Like, Jim Crute is going to just dice through this guy. He could knock him out if he wanted to. Don't get me wrong. He could knock him out if he wanted to, but I think that's the hard way. I think that's the tough avenue for him to take. I think he can take this man down and make him look quite foolish once it hits the mat. Now, my boy Lucrative and I talked about the submissions, right? If you guys go over to BetMGM, they've got the exact outcomes, and those are real fun to degen out. Just little baby sprinkles on like the exact outcome. You can do, arm triangles and guillotines and scarf holds, calf slicers at 100-1. Like, that's some real degen shit if you're going over there to BetMGM to do those things. And we both like the Kimura here. for our guy Jimmy the Brute Crute. He goes for Kimuras with regularity, and it's a position that Prachnow finds himself in pretty often as well. So I think the Kimura is the way to go here. The problem is the bookies know the Kimura is the way to go here as well, and it's plus 500. Now I don't know if that thing dropped and somebody got on it right away, or if they just knew to go ahead and open it short because Jim Crute is good with those things. But the super hot take that me and my guy had was Jimmy Crute by Kimura. Fortunately, the number is ass, so we're not going to be able to do anything with it. We're not going to be able to have too much fun looking for that Kimura sub, unfortunately. Makes me sad, makes me cry a little bit. But you know, it's funny, actually. I will tell you guys, I had a bonus bet. I've got a bonus bet that's on there. So I did go ahead and do an exact submission two-legger option here, and I did use Jimmy by Kimura for it. So I tied it with another leg further on down the card. This, by the way, this is just S's and G's, right? This is not something that's going to go on the official record or anything. It simply doesn't need to. It's not a real bet. It's like a $5 free bet that I got hiding somewhere in my hiding somewhere way deep down in my what is it, like my bonuses, my rewards or whatever over on BetMGM. So I did Jim Crute by Kimura, and then just for shits and giggles, did Holloway by Dart. So that came out at 100-1. So my $5 free bet could pay $500 if Crute gets the Kimura and Holloway hits a Darce in the main event. So yeah, not gonna happen. I'm burning money here, but again, free. So I thought, what the hell? I'll take a shot. I will take a shot. We'll see what happens. But like I said, not gonna track it, not gonna go on the record because it's not even real money. All right. Next up, you guys, we've got Adam Fugate, and he takes on Islam Dulatov. Guys, this picture right here just doesn't do it justice. It doesn't do it justice. Islam Dulatov has the biggest chin I've ever seen. Like, you know, look at this. Like, look, okay, I know your boy needs to lose some weight. I know, a little chunky, but like, look, you see the curve, it goes down. I mean, I don't have a butt chin or anything like that, but it's like there. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, people pay for implants that look like this bad boy. Your boy looks good when I lose about 10 pounds. I'll show you. But it comes down. This man's face is like this. Like, Islam Dulatov. He's straight up like, he looks like man, I mean, not Johnny Bravo. God, what's the cartoon where the guy has the absolute monster chin? He looks like freaking Quagmire, or looks like the guy, the dude with the giant bottom jaw from freaking Family Guy. Like, I can't believe the chin on this kid. I talked about how his defense is a problem and he leaves his head out there to be hit. He's never getting knocked out, guys. Like, with that chin, he's never getting knocked out. Anyway, both these guys came in at 171 pounds. I love the dog attitude from my boy Adam Fugate. He's a guy that absolutely refuses to be disrespected. He's a little old, he's a little small, he's a little short on the athleticism, but he doesn't let that stop him. Like in the UFC, and he's got a 500 record against these guys just by sheer durability and hard will and want. And that's the kind of fighter I like to get behind. Not with my money. Yes, Green King, American Dad. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Thank you. Oh, Grant's Keeper saying the tick. That's another good shout out. That one works as well, but I think American Dad is the one that's the one I was going for here. I'm not gonna bet my guy Fugate. He is always a live bet consideration, you guys. Fugate is a live bet consideration because he just refuses to go away. He refuses to lay down. If you're younger than him and you're more athletic than him and you're faster than him, like, you can beat this guy, you can hurt him, you can knock him out, but realistically, he absolutely will hang around if you're not, or even if you get a little tired or slow down a little bit, he will hang around. As a young kid with not a lot of experience, with gigantic holes in his defense, should he be able to go out there and knock Adam Fugate out probably in round 1 or round 2 because he's bigger and he's faster and he's stronger? Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. But of all the favorites on this card, this is the one that I'm like, I'm just gonna sit this one out. I'm just gonna take a break. I'll root for my guy Fugate, and if it looks like this kid is falling off a cliff because the UFC thought he was better than he is, then I'll jump in. we'll see what happens. If Fugate can make this guy grind towards the end of this fight, if he can slow down and get him tired, catch him with a big counter hook or something to sway the tide of this thing in round 2, you never know. So I'm just saying. It's probably going to be Islam. It's probably going to be Islam by knockout, but I loved this face-off. I loved how intense it was. I loved how Adam Fugate refuses to back off. My kind of guy. I'm rooting for him here, for sure. All right, guys, here we go. Next up, we've got Aiva Gutier, and he's taking on Rob Valentine. Now, I'm sad because I really thought Rob Valentine was maybe going to bounce back and be a little bit something more than he has been. He is just some motherfuckers always got to be skating uphill, man. Like, that's this poor guy. He is skating uphill all the time in the UFC. They are doing him no favors. I mean, Torrance Finney, shout out Spectation Sports, which, by the way, on that tangent, Spectation Sports has a doubleheader tomorrow, you guys. Check the link in the description below. Cage Titans has an absolutely phenomenal card, and there's this kid named Gear that's in Legends of Combat, the highlighter for that card as well. That kid's going to be on Contender Series. Like, I'm telling you right now, that kid's headed for the UFC. Promo code DieHard gets you 20% off when you sign up. Check them out. Get signed up. Watch more fights. It's good stuff. But Torrance Finney came from Spectation Sports, right? He came from those promotions, and they gave Rob Valentine to him, and he just greased out a decision win. Didn't do anything. Hung on his hips, took him down, made him grind, and that's something that Rob Valentine just can't stand up to. He's like a discount Dricus du Plessis, and when I say discount, I mean like discount rack and then clearance aisle. Like, he's nowhere in the vicinity of a Dricus du Plessis, but it is the same style of fighter, right? Like, he's okay at grappling. He will snag your neck and hunt the submission. He will step in and get in your face and try to punch you and try to hurt you and work his way back into a fight. Like, that's just the kind of guy he is. But he's not the biggest. He's not the most technical. He's not that fast. And so when he can't just like physically overpower you or intimidate you or drag you to the mat enough to make you tired, if he doesn't get your back on that first transition and choke you out, he's just going to lose. He's just going to lose. And Aiva Gutier, on the other hand, this kid is technical. He's so good. He flows. He's so explosive. And as you could see from the photo, he's a decent bit bigger too. Like, he's going to have the height and reach advantage in this spot. Now, we talk about how sometimes, if you're defending takedowns, you actually want to be the shorter, right? So if Rob goes to a grappling game, maybe Aiva's not ready for that. He's not ready to defend all those takedowns yet. We've seen him kind of get live coaching right in the middle of the fight. We've seen him have his coaches trying to drill him through how to escape certain situations in the grappling realm as it's happening. So maybe Rob Valentine can be that guy this week. Maybe he can be. I'm not saying that's happening. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be that guy this week. I think Aiva Gutier is going to have his coming out party this week. I think he's going to hit Valentine with like a flying knee as he's like level changing, coming in for a takedown or something. He's just going to time it and it's going to be like, man, if he could recreate, we're already calling him Mini Ngannou, right? Like, we're already calling the guy Little Ngannou. And if he can just time a takedown and get like the same uppercut, like the Overeem uppercut, my favorite knockout in UFC history. If he can just do that and we can post the side-to-side shots of him and Ngannou, oh, that would make my day. That would make my day. It's Aiva, you guys. It's Aiva by knockout. But, it's definitely a situation where they've got the knockout prop chalked all the way up to like minus 250, minus 280. And you know what? We saw that last week, which it's crazy. This is kind of what I was talking about, right? DraftKings chalked up the knockout prop last week. Who was that? Somebody was a massive favorite to get. It was Brazilian bum dude. What's his face? Vitor Petrino. They had his knockout prop all the way up to minus 200, minus 250. And he goes out there and so it's like kind of shit that happens in this damn sport. Of course he's going to knock him out, but he doesn't. He submits him. Now, Aiva doesn't have that second gear to shift into, right? He doesn't have the secondary skill set to hit that other prop. But, if he takes his time and he stays technical and he grapples a little bit, like maybe this is a decision. That's the thing that worries me. I think it's going to be around 1 KO, but you just never know. When you're getting a level up and you're dealing with a different set of skills, like the wrestling, like the grappling, like maybe he plays it a little safer and just gets his hand raised. We've seen that before. So don't go out there laying minus 2 on knock props. I almost did that last week. I almost tied Chris Curtis to the Vitor KO prop, and I'm glad I didn't because that would have just absolutely sold my Chris Curtis bet. Instead, I chose to tie Chris Curtis to freaking Tafa. So I ended up being awful and losing anyway. But, you know, at least I made one good choice, right? What's going on, everybody? Premium Picks in the house. What's going on? Appreciate you being here. Let's see here. Yeah, Mini Francis by KO. Completely agree. D, what is up, buddy? Appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Yeah, Green King. See, minus 320 by finish. Yikes. Yikes. Like that's a little juicy for a guy to get the finish. I mean, usually when they price them up like that, we kind of know it's coming, and it usually happens, but that's their job, right? Is to make sure they're not losing money on something like that. Make it real hard for you to put your money on, and then you feel real stupid when it doesn't come through. All right, next up, maybe the most intriguing fight on the card. Maybe the most interesting fight on the card. Francisco Praau takes on Nikolai Veretenov. Both guys look fantastic on the scales here today. Francisco Praau, like, bulking up to move up to 170 pounds. I guess he's saying he's staying here. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I hate it. Look at this guy, Nikolai. Got almost a full head on him. Like, look how big he is. This guy's bad. This guy's not going to make it in the UFC, but he's huge. Like, what happens when you're dealing with guys that you don't have better skills than, that are that freaking big? I just think this kid is too small for 170 pounds. It really bums me out because I'm a huge Praau fan. I think Praau is going to be legit. I think he's going to be really good. He's got volume. He's got pressure. He stays in your face. He never stops coming forward. He likes the taste of blood. Like, this kid will get in there even if he's been cracked in the face a couple times, and he'll just keep swinging. Like, I love this guy. But damn, dude, like, I just have such a hard time with him size at this weight class with the streak that he's on, and then laying chalk on him. He's a minus 150 favorite, minus 140, minus 150, kind of in that ballpark. And I see the vision. I really do. I think he's better than Nikolai, but he's smaller and he's less experienced. This is definitely a spot where a dog could pull the upset. We've all got high hopes for Francisco Praau, but in my opinion, those hopes lie at 155 pounds. I don't know that he's just going to be that dude up here at 170 pounds. Like, maybe he's Daniel Cormier, and even though he's tiny, like, he's just built like a bowling ball, and his muscles are so, like, dense that he's Yoel Romero, right? Like, he's just too thick to get himself healthy down at 155, and he has to be up here, especially as he gets older. You know, maybe he fills out more, right? Like, maybe he grows into that body. Maybe he adds more muscle on those. The man strength comes in and he starts knocking people out in a year or two again. Like, that's all totally possible. But tomorrow, I just worry about this one. I really do. I kind of like the over 2.5 here, minus 175 over 2.5. I could see Praau getting some grappling going against Nikolai. I could see him hitting some takedowns and wearing this guy out. We have seen that work against Veretenov a couple of times. I just don't know that Prado's going to go to that game plan. You know, he likes to get in there and bang it out. So I'm worried he won't be able to stick to that kind of a game plan. Not able to, but won't, you know. This one's tough, you guys. This one's a complete pass for me. I am picking Praau. I want to believe the kid. I want to cheer for the kid. I think he wins the fight, but this is one of those ones where I'm sticking to my guns. I need plus money on Francisco Praau. I need plus money on Francisco Praau at this stage of his career. Coming off the last couple fights that he had, I absolutely cannot lay chalk on him, especially against a larger, more experienced opponent like he's got here in this. Picking Praau, watching and cheering for Praau, but that's it. That's it. Groundskeeper says density is hard to identify. Rely on the weight. Has he gassed when he's smaller? If so, have faith more weight being good. Yeah, that's a fair take. That's a fair take. And, you know, this kind of stuff, especially when we're talking about a guy filling out in his body and his frame and moving up a weight class and being 23 years old and shit, like, this is all speculative. You know what I mean? Like, my dad, when he graduated high school, apparently when he went to college, he shot up like 4 inches. Like, that poor guy, he lost he lost out on the basketball team. He rode the pine his entire career in high school because he was too short to hang with kids on his team. And he did high jump and track, and he got beat by everybody. And then as soon as he gets out of high school, he just launches himself up. Me, on the other hand, I was a foot taller than my friends in 5th grade, and I'm not joking. There's photos with my boys; their heads are like here. Like I was massive, and I was huge early. So you just never know. You know what I mean? Like my dad was this tiny little dude and didn't get big until college, whereas I started off big, and I was like a newborn baby giraffe. Like I had to figure out how my body worked all the way through high school. So we'll see what happens to him. We'll see what happens. Josh saying Poirier plus 120 times 2. Oh, all right. All right, Josh, taking the dog shot in the main event. You'll love to see it. Good luck. Good luck. We'll get there. Next fight up, Marvin Vettori takes on Brendan Allen. This has got to be my most anticipated fight, right? Like, so we're not talking, betting. We're not talking future of the division, etc., whatever. Like, this is the one I'm excited about it, but mostly because I have an opinion on this fight and I've been ready for this fight for years. It's like when they had the 3-piece in a soda thing happen with Leon backstage, and then they never booked the fight, right? Like, we had the casino fight with these guys, and I went, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for that fight, and I've got an opinion on it. It's finally here. I get to see it. They're not out of their primes, right? We finally get a drama fight where the drama still makes a little bit of sense and there's a little bit of heat behind it, and there's maybe a little bit of placement in the division that matters behind it. Like, this is good timing. I like this. Brendan Allen came in at 185. Marvin Vettori came in at 186. And let me tell you, Marvin Vettori looked fantastic, you guys. I mean, nothing wrong with Brendan Allen. I'm not saying he didn't look good or anything like that, but Marv looked jacked. Like, he looked in great shape. His abs were cut up. Look at his back. Like, he's always in good shape, but he looked really, really good coming into this one here. And as you can see by the photo here, this face-off got intense. Like, Allen doesn't seem bothered. I'll be honest with that, right? Like, he definitely kept it like clean slate on the face, staring his boy down here. Marvin Vettori, though, got in his face and he screamed at him. And I'm not a great lip reader, you guys, but I'm pretty sure he just said, "You dead. You're dead." Like that. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Marvin Vettori, if you guys missed the announcement earlier in the week, is the Link Memorial Dog of the Week. I love me some Marvin Vettori here in this spot. This is a perfect storm for me. Brendan Allen is somebody who I feel like we've seen the best of. Don't get me wrong. He's a very, very solid grappler. He's very slick. And when he takes on older grapplers that have, old school jiu-jitsu or questionable cardio or, things of that nature, he can absolutely bully them. He can absolutely out-hustle them. He can take them down. He can drag them into he can choke them out. Like, that's his whole game, right? But when he takes on somebody who's a problem striking, when he can't control the grappling, when he's on the back foot the whole time, that tends to be an issue for him. We've seen him gas out in 15-minute fights before because he can't hit takedowns on people and he can't control the grab. Marvin is incredibly hard to hit takedowns on and control. He's been that way his entire career. I don't think Allen is going to have any grappling success against this guy, and we're seeing Marvin Vettori improve. He's out at ATT now. This is his second fight camp at ATT. And I kind of compared this fight on Monday to Jamal Hill in some capacity, which I think makes a little bit of sense. Because at the end of the day, I'm betting on the upside of Marvin Vettori. I'm betting on him being healthy. I'm betting on him making a full recovery from a shoulder injury that's been plaguing him for a while. He's 31 years old. He's still in his prime, and he's given guys like Jared Cannonier and Roman Dolidze and even Robert Whitaker, like he's given these, and Costa, he's given these guys hell. He's so tough. He's impossible to hurt. He's impossible to get out of there. He's so insanely durable. And that's his calling card. He never stops coming forward. He never stops throwing. He's basically a big white version of Chris Curtis. And Chris Curtis whooped Brendan Allen's ass, in my opinion. So with him improving in his striking, being at a better camp, and then, of course, having the extra motivation of fighting for his brother, who he's making like a real big deal about the fact that this one's for his brother who passed away. Like, I got to take that shot, you guys. That's all my stuff just lining up. It's a buy low on Marvin Vettori. It's on a guy that I'm not super hyped on, and it's a motivational factor. I like Marvin Vettori this week, and I've been all over it since the jump. I'm also getting crazy, you guys. I'm also getting crazy. It wouldn't be a Clint betting show if I wasn't getting crazy, right? Got to switch hats for this one. We're going Marvin Vettori by knockout at 16-1. Why? Because he will land clean on Brendan Allen, and he's been working on his striking and sitting down on his punches. You run the tape. He's hurting some incredibly durable guys like Jared Cannonier before he fell off a cliff and stuff. He's getting those. He's going to finish somebody. I know he's a decision machine, but he's going to finish somebody soon. And I think it's Brendan Allen. So we're playing the KO prop. Then, because the KO is probably not going to come early, we're sprinkling the round 3. We're sprinkling the round 3. Could it happen round 2? Maybe. But realistically, if Marvin gets his first ever knockout, is it going to be like a round? I don't think so. It's probably going to be something he has to chip away at. It's probably something he's got to get Brendan Allen real tired, real worn out. Let him fade a little bit, then hurt him, make him pay for the takedowns. That's how it's going to come. It's not going to be early. So we're going to sprinkle that round 3. And that's 28-1. And then, because, I mean, we're already here, why wouldn't we just go for the whole thing? We're going to sprinkle just a little bit more on Marvin Vettori by round 3 KO, TKO, or DQ. That's right. 45-1. So if the KO comes early, we get paid on the 16. If it's a club and he grabs the neck, we get paid hopefully at least on the round 3, right? But if we call this thing just perfectly and there's a minute and a half, everyone cashes their over 2.5s. And Brendan Allen shoots in on a takedown and fails. And Marvin gets him with an uppercut as he comes up, flurries on him, gets him up against the fence. And the referee steps in and Herb Dean waves it off. I can see it. I can taste it. That's what we're going with this week, you guys. Marvin Vettori, round 3 knockout. That's the upset. That's the dog of the week. That's the long prop of the week. That's the one. We're going to get right on one single fight this week. And that's with a big Marv KO. Welcome back, Italian Stallion style. I can't wait. I want to be right. You guys know I'm going to hit one of these eventually, right? Like, it's been a while. A minute. All right. Your boy's drowning out here. I'm fighting for my life in these streets. But I'm going to hit one of these. And it's going to turn everything. It's going to turn the tide of everything. I just need a little bit of luck. Come on, Marv. All right. All right. Let's keep it moving because we still have a couple of fights to talk about, believe it or not. Next up, we've got the Civil War of the week here. I mean, lots of really intriguing fights this week, you guys. We all kind of bagged on this card a little bit. The main event, the main portion of it being, a pay-per-view, I'm not sure I want to pony up $80 for it, but realistically, every single one of these fights is fun. There's a story. As we're watching the face-offs, I feel my blood pressure rising. I mean, starting to look like Conor McGregor out here with a 5-pound weight getting ready for this card. Venicius Olivera and Kyler Phillips. 135 pounds. This is your bantamweight special of the evening, which, I still am not sure where my crown is. I'm going to have to find it. The wife did some spring cleaning. So I'm going to have to get my crown back for you guys. But the Bantamweight King says this isn't the fight I want to be involved in. That's what this kind of fight is. I know so many people on this fight on both sides. I've got some of the sharpest and smartest people I know that are taking the shot here on Kyler Phillips, the Matrix. And he's another guy that I've just never been all the way sold on. I don't like the way he fades deeper in fights. I don't like the way he tends to gas out and slow down. And Olivera is the exact opposite of him, right? He might start a little slow. You might be able to figure this guy out in round 1, but then he turns up in round 2, and then he's not getting away from you in round 3, and he's throwing flying knees and shit. It's a step up for Venicius Olivera. It's a tough fight for both guys, and that's why we've got a very competitive line here on this one. So I love this fight. And I cannot wait to see how this turns out. This was a super intense face-off. Olivera stepped in hard on Kyler Phillips, and Kyler popped him in the gut or something. He poked him, and Olivera did not take kindly to that. It got intense up there today. Let me tell you, I can't wait. I think the move, you guys, I'm going to go square here. Okay. I think Lock Dog is the move. I think Venicius Olivera is going to win this fight, but I think it's going to be greasy. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be tight. I don't mind the Venicius Olivera round 3 sprinkle. I don't mind the 12-1 shot on him to win via flying knee late in this fight. I really don't. But I think the decision is the way this thing goes. And it's kind of interesting to me. The decision line is well, I guess it's not that wide. You got Olivera at plus 175 and Kyler Phillips at plus 225. Like, I don't see a world where Kyler Phillips really finishes Olivera. I know he's been clipped and caught like a couple of times, so I guess maybe like a round one if he really goes for it type of thing. But I just kind of don't see that happening. Yeah, interesting fight. Really good fight. Can't wait for this one. But I think the best option is to live bet it and see if you can get a good spot on Olivera as Kyler Phillips begins to fade. Next up, you have got Daniel Zellhuber, and he's getting a step up against the legend here against Michael Johnson. 155 for Johnson, 156 for the kid Zellhuber. Obviously, huge height and reach advantage here for Zellhuber. Both guys look good on the scales today. I was not expecting the bad blood that came with this fight. I really wasn't. You know, when they got on the mic at the pre-fight presser, it was a big deal about Michael Johnson talking some scumbag tactics. That's how Zellhuber got the fight. Like, man, you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. I don't think Johnson wants to be in there with this kid on Saturday. I mean, the way he was trying so hard to like punk him at the presser. You probably grew up watching me. You probably a fan of me. Like, I mean, he really just ripped into him. He did absolutely everything he could to make sure it looked like Zellhuber, bad guy here in this fight. I mean, at the end of the day, the UFC knows what they're doing, and they're putting this kid up there who's got some hype behind him, who's got a huge height and reach advantage, who's got a skill set that is rounding out and improving. They're putting him in there against a veteran who sometimes makes bad decisions, who sometimes slips up, who sometimes falls apart halfway through the fight, who's got some questionable durability. They're setting him up against that guy. And that just screams UFC planning to me, right? Like, obviously, the bookies know what's up. We all know what's up. It's not like they're hiding it or anything like that. This Zellhuber kid is a minus 600 favorite, so he absolutely should win. But I wouldn't even be shocked, you guys, if Zellhuber just styled on Michael Johnson. Like, I could see like a step-in knee KO and just like sending Johnson back against the cage 5 feet, following up with big ground and pound. The ref has to pull him off. I mean, Johnson laying in a pool of his own blood at the end of the day. Like, I think this is Zellhuber's coming out party. I think this is the one where we go, oh shit. You know what I mean? That kid is legit. Okay. All right, Danny. Okay, Zellhuber. That's what I'm expecting here this weekend. So it's Zellhuber for me. I can respect it if you don't all the way and you want to take one last dog shot with Michael Johnson. But this is a guy I want nothing to do with. I haven't wanted anything to do with him, even in his last couple of winning fights, just because he can completely flip on a dime and fall apart in a fight. That's not a guy I'm trusting with my money, even at plus 400, especially with a height and reach disadvantage. Ain't doing it. So, yeah, Zellhuber for me, Zellhuber inside the disc knockout is the way I'm looking here for this one. Next up, you have got Pitbull taking on Dan 50K Eay, my guy. I love Dan Eay. He's another one of those tough, gritty guys that just refuses to quit and go away. Now, he settled in nicely into a gatekeeper role here, right? Both guys coming in at 145 pounds. But the thing that's interesting to me here is Dan Eay's got the size advantage, everybody. How often do we get to say that? Never. Like, literally never. Dan Eay is not a man who ever has a size advantage in an MMA fight. So the fact that he's bigger than Pitbull and younger than Pitbull, I'm like, yeah, this is Dan Eay's spot. This line has been chugging all week. And I do think this is going to be pretty competitive. I do think this is not necessarily going to be a walk in a park, right? We have seen that both these guys are talking about big finishes. We've seen both these guys getting on, the microphone, getting in each other's face, talking about knockouts. I think it's going to be a decision. I think Dan Eay is finally going to win against somebody he's got a decent step up in competition against, mostly because of age. We have seen Pitbull get rocked and get hurt and have that stall his momentum in fights. And Dan Eay has always got that power, always find a spot in the boxing transitions. It's not going to be a fight where Pitbull can really find a lot of success looking for takedowns. The guillotine probably won't be there because, let's face it, Dan Eay's probably not going to look for takedowns either. So how are you going to pull a guillotine? You know what I mean? I like the favorite here on this one. Yeah, it's a little bit square, but again, two-legger parlay. I got Dan Eay somewhere in the vicinity of even money as long as my boy Kevin Holland gets it done. So I like that. That's the way I'm looking. I like the Ige side of things. I wouldn't lay this one. See, and this is where it's weird, right? Gambling theory, it's all backwards. It's all stupid. I wouldn't lay minus 200 on Ige, right? Like, I don't want to play him straight. But if I can buy him down the way I have with my stupid strategy here with my little two-legger parlay, if you can get a minus 140 on him, something like that, then I suddenly am a lot more interested. That's the number where I think he should be. Slight favorite, not huge favorite. Hope you win. That's where I'm at. Tongian. How do I say that? I love you too. Thank you much for showing up, showing some love. Appreciate you being here. Perp Show made it. What's going on? And that is PURP, not perp as in like book him as in behind bars, like perp, like Vikings. Victor, right over here. Let's go, Perp Show. What's up, buddy? Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, Groundskeeper saying my tinfoil hat messing with the internet is boosting. It's boosting the internet. I need to put the hat just right on top of the router. That'll get it done. I don't know what's going on. My internet was on the fritz this morning when we did the Sharp Action report. My wife's been telling me that her phone's been messed up all day. The internet has been weird all day, apparently. And now we're having issues during the most important show of the week. I mean, I know you guys all cleaned your slates. I know you guys canceled all your dinner plans. As soon as you saw that I was going live late tonight instead of going live early, everyone was like, wow, we can't be having internet problems. This is the most important thing going on in the world right now. So how could we possibly have internet problems when the Undefeated Post Weigh-In Show is going on? TH, what's going on, buddy? Appreciate you being here. Green King likes the Lock Dog Round 3 sprinkle. I do too. Grateful dude, what's going on? Aaron in the house, wishing you the best as well. My friend Camden Richardson, what's up? Vettori and Dustin Dog Parlay. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, man, we're going to disagree on that main event, but I like that you're with me on Vettori. Let's freaking get it, baby. Italian ice cream for everybody here. Italian sodas to celebrate, right? All right, next up, Kevin Holland takes on Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez, 170 pounds here, and they size up pretty well, man. Both guys look good on the scales today. I keep telling you, you guys, the reason I'm anchoring Kevin Holland here, the reason I've gone to war with Kevin in his last couple fights, the reason I bet him inside the distance big last time out, he's locked in. Like, I know we're all used to goofy-ass Kevin Holland. We're all used to Kevin Holland who don't care. The guy that's taking the quick turnarounds and just stepping against anybody, getting paid, getting partying on the week. This is a different Kevin Holland. This is locked in Kevin Holland. He's not John at the pressers, and he's not John in his opponent's face at the face-offs. He's staring them down. He's not saying a word. He's in shape. He's motivated. He's at the right weight class. It's a different person. And when Kevin is in this state, you can make money on him. When Kevin is in this exact condition and he's not facing a primary grappler, you can make money on him. And that's what I've done here this weekend. I'll say it again. He is the anchor. He is anchor number. I've parlayed him with everything money line that I'm playing on the board this week in order to bring their prices down for me to enjoy a little bit better. I'm essentially pretending like Kevin doesn't exist. Now, the only way he exists is if he loses, because if he loses, my night is ruined. My night and my life is ruined if Kevin Holland loses on Saturday. But I really love this fight for him. I absolutely love this fight for him against Daniel Rodriguez. He's got a guy who's got some size parity going, which means he's going to have opportunities to land on him. He still has a reach advantage. He's got an older opponent, which means it's someone he's going to quicker than. It's going to be somebody who he's got power than. It's probably somebody that he's hungrier than. Again, that's not something you can really quantify, but it seems like D-Rod's on the downswing, whereas Holland is still trending his way upwards, right? He's going to have a durability edge here, and I think he's got a pretty sizable grappling edge. Now, I've been Daniel Rodriguez his flowers. I've talked about how he's got an underrated grappling game. Like, if he really wants to grapple, he's got an underrated grappling game. He just doesn't go to it that much, though. It's not a thing that he goes out there as the game plan. He mixes it in every once in a while when he needs to, but it's not a thing he goes out and focuses on. So I'm not expecting him to try to wet blow like Kevin. And even if he does, guys, look back at Daniel Rodriguez's run. Look back at his record. The two guys that he's had significant like size parity with, size, height, and reach disadvantages against, they both finished him. You know, you've got Ian Gary, who, yeah, he's one of the better guys in the division, but he's not knocking people out. knock this dude out with a head kick. Neil Magny. I mean, this guy's burnt toast. He's so done. And he gets out-grappled by everybody. He gets submitted by anybody with a half-decent ground game. He submitted Daniel Rodriguez. That's both the things that I think Kevin Holland has advantages over Daniel Rodriguez with. He's been finished by guys who you can compare Kevin Holland to. So yeah, this is just a smash spot for me. I'm hoping Daniel Rodriguez doesn't come out here and upset the apple cart and just send me home crying at the end of the day. My night tomorrow will be ruined. Monday will be extremely sad if I show up dealing with that one. But we're going for anchor number 10. We're going to move to 9-1, and we're going to have a damn good night cashing all the parlays that come home with my boy Kevin Holland getting it done. And I think it's going to be a knockout, you guys. I really think it's going to be a knockout. I believe Daniel Rodriguez will stand in the fire just a minute too long. And I kind of feel like it's a moment I can see so clearly in my head. Like as Daniel is fading away, trying to roll off of a punch, Kevin and just those fantastic 4-ass lanky arms, he's going to get him with a right hand. Like as trying to fade away out of range, he's going to mistime the space a little bit and it'll get clipped and he won't be able to come back from it. That's what I see happening. So I think it's a KO, especially with him coming off a sub in his last fight. I think he wants to get out. I think he likes that feeling of finishing and putting someone down with his hands. So yeah, Kevin Holland all the way. Kevin Holland by knockout. That's the freaking move. D says, sons of bitches can't stop the undefeated post-weigh-in show. And that is directed at the internet connection. I love it, D. Love it, buddy. All right. Alonso says, whatever happens, Kevin is the right. I agree. You got to pick him. You got to pick him, regardless of the line, right? This is one of those, and I hate these, but this is one of those just pick the winner type of things, right? Like he wins. That's it. Like he should win. There's very slim margins for him not to win. The line has moved in his favor. I beat the line move. Like all of it. It's all there. He should win. Damn it. Come on, Kevin. Next up, you've got the return of Paulo Costa taking on Roman Hopilov. I'm kind of surprised that this one's the co-main event, quite frankly, you guys. I mean, Costa, I know with his name, with his fandom, like you kind of got to give him his spot in the sun. But frankly, he's looked awful lately. So I'm not sure that he's warranted of a co-main event at this point. And similarly, Hopilov, while I like Hopilov and he's been looking good and he's on a bit of a heater right now, like his best win is Chris Curtis. So like, you know, I love Chris Curtis. I'm the Chris Curtis guy, you know, but I don't know that this is a great co-main, frankly. Paulo Costa looked rough at weigh-ins today. He looked rough. It looked like it took absolutely everything he had to make 185 pounds today. Couldn't believe that. Roman Hopilov looked pretty good, frankly. And when you look at those photos of them, it seems like Hopilov has a very slight size advantage. It's kind of crazy because like Paulo's whole thing is just being the big monster dude out there, right? Like that's his whole thing is being big and physical. And he mostly is larger than the people that he's fighting and twice as wide if he's not. Hopilov looks like he's got his number in the physicality department, if you ask me. This one's tough, you guys. This one's really tough. Obviously, Hopilov is the more technical of the two. He's going to try to keep this fight at range. He's going to try and kick Paulo Costa's leg off. Costa's probably the tougher, grittier of the two. That's his whole thing is he'll come forward and he'll swing it out in the pocket and he'll point at the fences right before throwing a hook at your head, right? But he doesn't have massive knockout power or anything like that. I think that's a big problem for him here. If he can't get the respect from Roman Hopilov, I think he's going to have a hard time dictating the fight. It's going to end up having to become a volume situation. It's going to end up having to become a war. And while I think Paulo probably has the advantage in that situation, the technical striking of Hopilov, if you can't make him tired, is going to be the thing that gets it done. Sneaky way I think that maybe we look at this fight is takedowns, takedown props. If you can find takedown props out there, I think they're worth a taste. Paulo Costa is probably, I mean, I don't want to say he's fighting for his job. I don't want to say he's fighting for his job because I think he's too popular to be fighting for his job. But he's 34 years old now, and he's 1-3 in his last 4 fights. I mean, he's probably got a real tough road ahead of him if he doesn't win a fight like this one. So I think he's going to kind of pull out all the stops here. And the biggest advantage that he has in this fight would be grappling. You know, and we saw him in his fight with I'm blanking. Luke Rockhold. His fight with Luke Rockhold. That was a primary grappling fight. And Luke Rockhold has, you know, decent jiu-jitsu but Paulo still went out there and took him down a couple of times. I kind of feel like that's what he's going to need to do here, especially when he's dealing with a rangy kicker, somebody who he's going to struggle with at range, somebody who's had problems with the takedown defense in the past. I think that's a sneaky way for Paulo to go out there and try and win this fight. And I kind of like the flyer on Costa by decision. I don't think Hopilov captures the mind of the MMA community. I don't think Roman Hopilov has some massive fan base that the UFC is just chomping at the bit to get this guy into a title picture, right? Like, so I fully expect this fight to be back and forth, fight to be competitive. I expect this fight to be very close. And given all those things, I kind of feel like Paulo's going to end up getting the nod. He lost a split to Sean Strickland in his last fight. And I really think if the UFC argue for Paulo to be in the title picture at some point again, they would rather have that than a guy like Hopilov. Now, this is all, right? This is all tinfoil cap type of stuff, right? At the end of the day, I think this is a close fight that will go the full 15 minutes. I think Paulo has a grappling advantage if he chooses to go to that. And then I think Hopilov is going to have a technical striking advantage. So Paulo is going to have to make up for it with volume if he's going to have a shot at winning this fight. So yeah, I think it's close, and I think it goes the distance. And I think Paulo Costa could be a very live underdog if he can make some things work for him. I think he could be a very, very live underdog. All right. Main event, everybody. The trilogy fight, the retirement, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway 3. It's happening. And this is another one where it's tough, because what do I say about this fight, right? These guys are professionals. BMF titles on the line. Obviously, you don't have to have like the actual on the dot weight for the BMF title when compared to like a division title. So 155 for Max Holloway, 156 for Dustin Poirier. Both guys look fantastic. Max Holloway really looks like he's packed on some size. Looks like he's filled out a little bit. Looks like he's more of a lightweight than he was the last time they fought. Dustin Poirier looks like he could jump up to 170 if he felt like it. Like, this guy is built like a refrigerator at this point. He's so wide. Max has the height and reach advantage, but both these guys are being respectful of one another. They're both still ready to rock. Max put out a quote, though, that I thought was just so cold, man. He was like, he took my 13-fight win streak away from me. I'm going to take his retirement away from him. Ooh. I love it. Now, I mean, it hits a little different because Max is 0-2 in the trilogy right now, right? Like, it doesn't quite have the same sting that it would if it was 1-1, or even if this was just the second fight. It would have a whole lot more behind it. But it's still a cold line, man. That's still a good line. You know, guys, all this went down to me is Dustin is fading. You can see it in his last couple of fights. He's fallen off, right? He is fighting some of the best. I'm not going to say he isn't. I'll give him two, obviously. But he's taking shots, bigger shots. He's getting finished a lot. Like, it's all starting to happen, right? He's aging out. Max Holloway got cracked by arguably the modern GOAT in his last fight. It took him into the third round before it happened. Didn't look bad before it happened, right? Like, so I don't really count getting knocked out by Ilia Topuria as being a super bad thing for Max Holloway right now. Yeah, obviously, if he hasn't fully recovered or something like that, then that could be a problem. But his confidence obviously isn't shaken. The technique is still there. The speed is still there. None of that's a problem. I think Max has more juice in the tank right now. That's all it comes down to. I think he's game planning better. I think he's fighting better. Just when you watch his fights, I think he's in better form at the moment. And there are no happy endings in MMA. There are two guys. Khabib went out on top. He retired undefeated. Never got to the point where he might fall off. He rode off into the sunset. He's the one. He's the one and only, right? And then you've got Robbie Lawler, who got to the end of his career, said, you know what? This ain't going well. It's time to hang it up. He got one last fight, and he won via brutal, vicious round one knockout, and he rode off into the sunset. One last one for your boy. Nobody else falls on that list. They're getting robbed on split decisions. They're getting iced 2-3 fights in a row. Maybe they go out on a win, but then they unretire in 2 months and they come back and take another fight and they lose and they get their ass kicked again. That's how it goes in MMA. So I'm never betting on the guy who's retiring, right? I think Max Holloway's got some life ahead of him. And again, does the UFC want Dustin Poirier to get the BMF title wrapped around his waist and retire and ride off into the sunset? The BMF title is something that gives them a free pay-per-view. BMF title is something that gives them a free fun fight between two of the biggest bangers in the sport. Just throw it on the line. It means nothing, but everyone gets hyped up for it. It's fun. They don't want that belt going away. Now, granted, they could unretire it at some point, but if Dustin retires with it, he will be forever the BMF title holder, and it'll disappear. It'll be kind of a big deal if they pull it out of retirement, right? They got to strip Dustin of the BMF title to put it back on the line. So I think UFC would definitely prefer that Max Holloway keep the BMF title wrapped around his waist. We'll see if that happens. We'll see if it happens. But I think the volume for Max Holloway is going to be a problem. I think Dustin Poirier has quite as much pop in his hands as he used to. I believe Max will be better prepared at 155 this time around than he was the last time. All this comes down to slight pick'em, close line. I will take Max Holloway. The hot take on this was that it finishes inside the distance. I don't think this one's going to go the full distance. No two fights are ever the same in MMA. We've seen a finish with these two guys, and then we've seen a decision with these two guys. I think we zig and zag, and we go right back to a finish. I think one of these guys is going down. Later in the fight, I think they both put it on the line. We've seen Dustin be willing to do that. He goes in death in every single fight. Max Holloway with the finger pointing at the center of the cage. We know he will do that at the end of a fight. So when we get to round 4, round 5, like I think these boys are really just going to go for it. So I actually kind of like Max Holloway rounds 3, 4, and 5. I think it's going to be a finish. I think it's going to be a late finish. Holloway round 3, 16-1, 20-1 round 4, 25-1 round 5. And honestly, you guys, I think the sneaky look here is not Dustin Poirier via guillotine, because that's what everybody's hitting, right? Everyone's looking for the sub. They want Dustin to ride off into the sunset with that guillotine. Dustin's going to grapple. Dustin's going to pull Gilly. He's going to look for that. I think we end up grappling a little bit in this fight. And I think Max pays back Dustin Poirier for that first loss he took via submission. I think Max Holloway is going to sub him back. I already told you guys I got that free bet over on BetMGM. I got a 2-leg parlay that is 100-1. It's a $5 free bet. It's not real money. I went the Crute Kimura, and I tied it to Max Holloway Darce. So those 2 legs will pay out at 101 on my little $5 free bet. But frankly, I kind of like the Max Holloway sub prop. 20-1 on DraftKings for Max Holloway to hit a submission. That's worth a little bit of a sprinkle, just some cheese in my opinion. And then I actually kind of like the late round props. I don't think I'm necessarily going to hit these individually unless I'm like, if I'm flying high for the night, if everything's hit and we've got money just kind of flowing, right? I might max 3, 4, and 5, which is 80-1, 100-1, and then 120-1. Just insane numbers. Not a very likely thing to happen, but definitely would be fun, and the bragging rights would be phenomenal, right? So I like Max Holloway. I like Max Holloway late, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was the one that won by sub. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is your undefeated post weigh-in show for UFC 318. Thank you all so much for being here with me. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Please don't forget, check out Spectation Sports. You can sign up with the 20% discount with my link in the description. If you guys have not checked out Kalshi, try that as well. If you trade $100, you get a 10% kickback. So you get a $10 kickback when you start trading with Kalshi. They've got odds on literally everything. You can bet whether or not they release like the Epstein files and shit like that over there. It's absolutely insane. But they've got MMA now, so new wrinkle to their game. You can bet on literally anything over there. So check that out. Use my promo code when you sign up. Please bet safely, bet responsibly. Never gamble more than you guys are able to lose. And let's just have a day tomorrow. Let's hit the anchor. Let's hit some of these parlays. Let's hit Marvin Vettori round 3 KO. And let's set the record straight. Let's go, boys. We're having a good one tomorrow. I can feel it. I'm coming for blood at UFC 318. Let's go. Be good. Have some food. Go snack on some cashews. Let's roll.